tonight we have the Humanians on. And funny story about the Humanians, someone brought the mint into our Discord a little while ago. And well, not a little while ago, actually. Might have been a week ago at the most, I'd say. And it looked like a really cool concept. It looked like they were doing some really cool things. And we ended up as a community, we're pre-mint still. So as a community, we all kind of went in and swept the floor a little bit, even before we've minted out. And we actually, as a community, pretty much brought the floor back up to above the mint price. And I think we might have given you guys some steam there to get some more mints going. And our community is super pumped about what you guys are doing. And one, the art is really cool, but you're also doing some other cool stuff. So, without further ado, I'll hand it over to Josh and let him talk about what you guys are doing.
Yeah, thank you so much for the intro. I really appreciate that. What a cool concept for a project. It's funny. I have our community manager. He's in the chat as well. His name is Thomas. I always see him like referring to when he's talking to some of the members of Discord. He always says like looking for janitors with a little broom next to him. I was trying to figure out what it meant at first, but this was before I heard about your project, and then it all came to like my mind. I was like, oh, okay, janitors, brooms, sweeping, okay. And then I heard about your project. I was like, okay, what a great name for the project. It actually makes so much sense.
Right.
And I love this. I
believe we actually messaged your community manager as well and kind of just gave him a little rundown on the project. I don't think he had heard of us yet either. So I appreciate him kind of giving you guys a little rundown on what we were doing. So definitely appreciate that.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I'm glad he did. And thank you guys for reaching out. I think, let me give a brief rundown of what the Humanians is first. So, we have 4 founders plus our artist who is part of our core team as a founder as well. And we are all based in Bali, Indonesia for the core team. We operate like very Web 2 structure in the fact that we have like all of our team is in an office together. We have about 30 of us in an office plus different people around the world. So, yeah, the idea is that we created this company about 4 or 5 months ago called Odd One Out Labs. And Odd One Out Labs is a NFT collective that basically aims to release collections and help others release collections that have a arm or a part of the collection that has some kind of social impact for in real life. Now, social impact, we can say that in many different ways. For the Humanians, our first collection, we chose to bring awareness to body dysmorphia. And body dysmorphia is basically when a person as a human finds something in their own appearance that they perceive as being wrong or being ugly or not being good compared to how they view other people. And they find something with themselves that they like obsess over to the fact that they don't think they're beautiful. They don't think that they're, and the differing severities between people is really big. Some people it's just something small, like I don't like my nose. Other people it can become very severe and become dangerous as well. And all of us as core team, we've all worked in the fashion and entertainment industry myself for the last 13 years. And my partners and I, we all worked in fashion and film production as well. And same with our artist, Amber. So we've been watching media and we've been a part of a lot of it. Media has really skewed the perception of what it means to feel beautiful to outsiders, right? So through advertising and through social media and filters and billboards and Photoshop, and it's kind of given the younger generation, and it affects people of all ages, but specifically the younger generation, this skewed perception on what it is to be beautiful. And the idea for the project is kind of us coming forward as founders and saying, hey, we've been in the entertainment industry, in the fashion industry. We've been a part of this. We have clients that reach out to us with specific casting briefs, or we have a photo or a video that they ask us to edit a certain way. And we have done this, right? And it's us coming forward as founders and saying, it's time for a change. And this like idea that you have to look this certain way, or you must have a skinny waist, or people that are trying to achieve for light skin, things like this. This shouldn't exist in the world. And the whole concept of what we're doing is that no matter where you're from, what you do, what you look like, you should have a place where you feel is all inclusive to you. Like you can belong somewhere and be respected and be appreciated as a human being, no matter what you do or where you come from or what your financial status is or what you can afford. Like this is all something that's inclusive within the ethos and the heart of the project and what we're trying to achieve long term.
Awesome.
So that is a basic rundown of what we're doing for the Humanians. But Odd Labs, like the concept is that when we do future projects, we will always pick a different social impact. So originally, before we chose body dysmorphia, we had other ideas too, like environmental, medicinal, like cleaning plastic from the ocean or saving forests from deforestation areas. Also, medical research, cancer research, things like this as well. So I'm excited to see where the road takes us and what we do for the next collection. But one collection is a lot of work, so it's not something where we're going to come out with one every couple of months, maybe every 1 year or once every 2 years, something like this, because we really, really want to focus on quality over quantity and to develop our universe that we're creating with Humania and the Humanians and go from there. So that's a quick rundown of what we're doing.
Yeah, so with that, with Odd One Out Labs, have you guys considered, not necessarily having to build another project yourself, but potentially bringing on other projects that are doing some, some similar type of stuff, or backing them in some sort of way, whether it be with some of your team members helping them out with marketing or whatever may be. But instead of having to create a new collection, you're now maybe investing in other collections that are doing some similar type of stuff that you would potentially do with your next collection.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, us as founders, we all have a few different businesses, so we're all entrepreneurial spirits. But I think there's not a limit to what Odd One Out Labs can do. We also offer like services within the NFT and crypto world, so blockchain development or marketing or strategy advisory, these kinds of things with us or our partners or our freelancers that we use as well. So yeah, we're completely open. And since we started to develop this project, we've got quite a few requests for Odd One Out Labs on other projects, and we're completely open. But at the time being, our primary focus is our own project. I
Yeah.
want to make that clear because we want to make this. I mean, we have such a great community that stood by us during our mint day being maybe one of the worst days in market history, and then our planned reveal day being when the big crash happened last week. And some things have had to shift, and it hasn't been like the easiest process for all of our community members, but we really, really appreciate and what they've done for us and how they've stuck through the collection, and us as a team, what we stand for has been amazing. So I want to make sure that we give back to them as investors in time and investors in money and emotions into our project first. But yeah, as we develop and as we grow, of course, it's something that we will consider moving forward as well.
Yeah. So talking about the Humanian collection, how far along are you guys in the mint right now? So I know you still have some to mint, but you're fairly close to being minted out, right?
Yeah, I mean, wow, this last week or so has been a pretty crazy process. It wasn't ever anything we could have expected to get to this point. We really believe in our project, and of course, we have a community that does too. But given the market situation at the time when our mint happened, there was a series of unfortunate events that unfolded. But as founders and a core team, it doesn't stop us. It doesn't demotivate us. If anything, I think for myself, it motivates me more because I really, really, really want to take care of the people that believe in the project and what we're doing. So in our mint process right now, we're about, I think, almost 90% sold out, like 88%, something like this. But actually, given the situation, we are going to be closing our public sale, closing our mint today at, 4 p.m. Bali, which is 4 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is about 6.5 hours from now. Yeah, we made some decisions as a community early on with our mint and our mint strategy, and then after going into reveal, we made some decisions as a team on what we do. So we feel confident. Like at this place where we're at, I think the term minting out is subjective to everybody on what it means to them. So for us, of course, there's a lot of benefits to the project in minting out, being able to bring more people into our family. still keep our loyal members, but as an all-inclusive project, it's important to us to be welcoming to everyone. So the possibility and the power of what we can do as a project long term, it doesn't rely solely on minting out. And I think this concept is very different to everyone, but to us, the idea of minting out is just to close our doors to the mint process so we can move forward. We have a lot of our roadmap that's in development, and what happens is, as our mint process is much longer now than we early anticipated, we're giving a lot of energy and effort to the mint while we're still doing the roadmap. But our roadmap development could go more when this mint process is done. So we have a lot of announcements and roadmap development, and some cool things that are not even on our roadmap that we want to discuss and share with everyone. So today, when the mint closes, we're happy to move forward and start getting into the fun part of the project, which is developing, growing, making products, which are already in process. So I'm really excited about it.
Right. That's what. So it's funny in this space. Everyone is so worried about mint, right? Everyone is so worried about minting out and getting to the mint and making sure the mint goes smooth and everything like that. And it's really important. But the true work of the business and the startup, which NFTs are, that's kind of what they are, starts when the mint closes, right? That's when, okay, now it's time to build, right? And I think it's kind of a weight off your shoulders too once that mint closes up and you say, okay, now let's all get to work, right?
Absolutely. And I think, us as a founders and core team, we're not really okay. We know that our NFT project, what it stands for and what it is and what we're going to do. And we all are on the same vision when it comes to what we're developing and what we're building. And we're really here for long term. So when I think about mint, whether it's one day or 1 week or 2 weeks or whatever it is, at the end of the day, it's a very small percentage of the length of what our process is. It's a very short time span in what we're doing long term. However, in this time as founders, our goal is to develop the project for our community, right? However, when we're in this mint process, there's a lot of things that come into play. Like me personally, I'm not the type of person I mean, I hold a couple hundred NFTs from different projects and different things, but I have never been the type of person that cares only about floor price, because I usually, in my personal NFT exploration, I am not caring about only the financial aspect of it. But there's something to be said that the NFT projects are a part of the crypto world, So for a lot of people and for the general public, there is this view of, okay, has it gone up and has it gone down? And I don't like to look at floor price and assess like if a collection is good or a project is good based on floor price, because I don't think it matters. It might just be the market sentiment at the time. It might be, look, I mean, in the situation for the last 2 weeks, I think every single project in the whole space has gone down, which is
Right.
it's okay, because the projects that will thrive in the long term are the projects that don't get rattled by temporary market situations, right? So yes, some things happen. Sometimes it goes up, sometimes it goes down. But when the mint process is over and when it's done, this is when the real work starts. And this is, I always think of it as like, all right, so we had this product when you're in pre-mint, which you guys are as well, and we are basically pitching a business plan to potential investors, to members of, this is what we want to do, this is what we want to build. Do you want to be a part of it? The NFT is your ticket to be a part of our family, right?
Right.
And now that we're there and the mint is done in 6.5 hours, then we push forward in development. So this is a really, really exciting time for us to give back to the community and to give back to people who need our help in the real world, and to form new partnerships and collaborations with other projects like the Janitors that are doing really cool things too, and helping maybe new users or experienced users find those type of projects that are diamonds in the rough, or like the ones that are just undervalued. And yeah, we're looking to build long term. So I'm really not phased by what 1 week or 2 weeks does. But that being said, I do understand that some people in the community might be phased, and I think as a founder or a co-owner of a project, it's quite important for founders to also empathize with their community, right? So we want to make sure that everybody is taken care of. We want to make sure that everyone's feelings are heard. But at a certain point, we need to do what's best for the project for long term, because there's some people that don't see what we're doing. You know, they see what we announce and they see what we talk about in the Discord, but there's so many things happening behind the scenes that not everybody sees. So knowing all aspects of what's going on, some choices we need to make as a founders team on how we move forward, how we progress to hit our long-term goals, which is what we're doing. So.
Absolutely. So yeah, let's talk about what's next for the Humanian. So 6 hours from now, the mint's closing, right? And it's gonna be done. So then you're gonna start the building. That's when the building really starts. So maybe this is a little too much alpha for you that you can't really release, but looking at the roadmap, what's the next step for you guys? What happens after the mint closes on? What are you guys working on?
Sure. Actually, what I'm working on today is I'm working on putting a new kind of like roadmap development into our website. So I'm working with our developer to kind of put this like what our roadmap consists of in each category. So whether that is like metaverse or it is NFT world or it is in real life or it is a social impact and what's in process and what's happening later and what's been completed. So I think when we developed our roadmap, we put it in these phases: phase one, phase two, phase three, which are the items on the roadmap we are still doing at a minimum, right? Like the minimum that we will do. But that being said, the order has shifted a little bit because our community's desires and the market has changed completely from when we made our roadmap. So the order of phases has changed a bit too. So the immediate things that are important to us, number one is take care of our community and our social cause. Yeah. So next week I'm heading to London with Roman, who's our content director, one of the founders, who does all of our video content, and we're meeting with our charity partners to develop the roadmap of what they're going to do with the funds, to integrate some of their resources and what they can do to help our community within our project, and how we will go forward to help their community and their members who need help in real life with our nonprofit partners. So that's coming up next week. The big one for community and members that we're working on now is more of our staking and marketplace development. So we started our staking development before we minted with our developer who also built our contract. So now we're getting to the point today. I'm going to make an announcement on when exactly that will be released and when it will be live, so that our users who will stake their NFTs can generate change token, which is our internal off-chain token that will be used for our marketplace to be able to claim items and services that we will offer moving forward as a project. So for marketplace items, we're looking at whitelists for other projects coming up, which we're definitely going to get janitors on there for sure. And we're also looking at merch items, charity donations, mental health and wellness applications such as counseling services, yoga services, coaching for life, and whatnot. So having these different categories that kind of resonate with different types of demographics of the community members that we have, because everybody is in it for a different reason. And we want to make sure to tick as many boxes as we can to resonate with different members' needs. So this is the big one that's going live, and it'll be ready really soon. Actually, we're just in final testing. I had a call with our developer yesterday and was doing some screen sharing with him, and he was showing me all the functionality, and it's really cool. So I'm pretty excited to put this out.
Awesome. So change token, and it'll be used in the marketplace. It's not going to be an on-chain tradable token. It'll just be in your ecosystem, used on your marketplace, right?
Yeah, correct. So change token is a token to make change, and what that means to everybody is a little bit different. But for us, it's not an on-chain token that has a financial value to it. It's a token that we can use within our own ecosystem to be able to benefit others, the community, or the members themselves, which all of those are completely fine to do, and each member can choose at their own what they would like to do with it. But yeah, and also this is in the plan for Autonaut Labs and future projects that we develop, or with projects that we work with. We will integrate this change token into other ecosystems as well, so this can be used cross-platform into multiple projects long term.
Awesome. And so then also, it looks like you guys are planning to do some NFT world stuff. So what's the plan there?
Yeah, so we our metaverse development is basically an extension of our Discord, so it's more of a social thrive hangout spot. So we purchased NFT Worlds a few days after we opened our mint, and now it's staked and in our community wallet and earning Worlds token. So this will do a few things. So the Worlds token will be able to be claimed by users as well, split in, but also the NFT Worlds in our metaverse development. We're working with a couple developers now. We're yet to choose the exact one we're going to work with in building our metaverse world, which is Humania. And this is kind of where our community members can, extension of our Discord in the conversations, the seminars, all the different community activities that we have will be brought into the metaverse as well. So what we're building is a version of Humania, which is our developed, let's say, city that has event spaces, arcades, games, beaches, activities you can do within the city. Also, we will use this for seminars and any events we have moving forward. And then it kind of moves into what we call Zen zones, which are these different environments connected through a series of trails that are for your mental health and wellness. So we have like a forest area and a desert area, canyon, snowy mountains, jungle, this kind of nature areas. So the idea was that, in real life, if we're ever dealing with something or we're spending too much time at work or we finally get off for the weekend, a lot of us tend to go to nature to let our minds unwind. And as the NFT space and Web3 develops and people are spending more time in the metaverse, still quite new now, but it will exist more later, and forward thinking is quite important. It's how do we still allow our minds to be at ease and to get some of the positive energy that nature gives us while we're in the metaverse. So building these applications so you could still feel like you were getting that zen and that peace in different areas is quite important to us as well. So that is what we are building on NFT Worlds, and there is another really cool portion to this which we haven't talked about yet. So I can't talk about it yet.
You can't talk about it yet. That's
I mean, I could, but I can't.
the team might be like, come on, man, come on.
No, it will come out soon. But for me, the big thing is that I want to. We have so much stuff that we're developing that we're doing. However, a lot of the announcements have been like stagnated by the fact of our mint process, right?
Yeah.
So when our mint closes today is when I have just so many like announcements ready to go and ready to give out on updates of what's going on. And this is really where we will start to work with the community on what we're doing and to update everyone on what's happening. Because for the time being, the last 10 days, 12 days have been taken up solely by mint and community members' thought of floor price and reveal. And I understand these are part of NFT projects and they're part of starting to build. However, that's not the reason why we exist as a project. I know it's part of it, and we go through it, and we get there, and it's important to us too because we want the project to be successful for whatever any member's reason is that they got in the project, whether that be financial or social impact or for the art or for the utility. It's equally important to us, but that's not the reason why the project is created. Is not centered around floor prices, right?
Right. Absolutely.
But I'm a firm believer that if we build what we said we're going to build, and we're building products that are cool, and we're including our community in what we're building, and we're thinking long term, projects that succeed are the ones that push forward with what they want to do, and they build this community, and they build this strength, and they build this power. And everyone is at different speeds depending on market sentiment, right? Because the only thing that we can't judge is what is the market public sentiment going to feel like when this project reveals or mints or makes this announcement at whatever time based on what else is happening in the world or in Web3 or in other projects. And this is something we can't control, and it's something that I don't like to put at the front of making our decisions. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's like I always say too. So now is the time to build, right? A lot of projects are kind of like, well, let's just pause what we're doing here and see what the market does. Well, the reality is, right now should be the time where you're really, really building. So when the market does change, you're ready to go. You've got everything ready to go because it's a good time right now to just build as a community, build as a team, and be ready to go when the market changes. Because anyone who's been in the space for any amount of time knows that there are super highs and there are super lows, and they come and they go quick. So, we could wake up tomorrow morning and all of a sudden floor prices are just booming. You just never know what's going to happen, and it happens really fast. And the meta changes really quick. We could wake up tomorrow and all of a sudden pixel art is the big thing and everybody's buying it left and right. um, but the important thing is, like, in a down market right now, projects that are going to last are building, and they're focused on growing what they're doing right now. And if they aren't and they're pausing what they're doing, they're going to really struggle when the market does pick up.
Yeah, absolutely. And what I've noticed in this market, everything moves like unbelievably quickly. There's what we do a month ago has changed so much on what people value today, and like what happens one day to the next day, it changes so fast, and that's okay because it allows us to adapt fast and to build fast. And I think the projects that will stay long are the ones that can assess it and not become emotional over what the market does, but use it to their advantage. Say, okay, this is changing, so what are we going to do here? Let's do this, let's do that, let's grow new ideas, let's ask the community here, let's bring someone else on. And that's our goal and kind of our mission too, on how we want to improve and how we want to build the project. So it's quite
Yeah,
important.
and it's also important to stick with your goals, your original goals of what you want to do, and not try to kind of pivot with the market,
Absolutely.
because it does change so fast that if you try to
Yeah.
pivot what you're doing, and switch things around, a week later it could be completely different already, and now you're like, well, that didn't work out. So
Yeah, absolutely. I think what's important is to stay with your goals, stay with your mission as a project, and what you want to do. But that being said, like, as things shift in the market, don't let it control you, but realize that there might be some opportunities to expand on
definitely.
your current ideas. Yeah.
Definitely. So one thing that I really like about the project, besides the charity donations and the and everything else that you guys are doing, is the art. Can you talk about the art, or is the artist on tonight, or can you tell us a little bit about the art, because it's super unique and I haven't seen anything remotely close to what it looks like, and it's really cool, and almost every single one looks so different than the other ones.
Yeah, I mean, our artist is amazing. So her name is Amber Day. She goes by the pseudonym for this style of drawing as Visby. So she has her own illustration, and then she made this new style a few years ago, which is the style what you're seeing in the art of the Humanians. She named the artist for this style. She named Visby because it was quite different from what she was doing. So she also grew up. Her career started in the fashion world. She was a fashion designer, illustrator, prop stylist, working with a bunch of fashion brands. And most fashion illustrators, they start drawing these what the collection will look like, and typically this has all been like really skin, like the type of people she would draw are what you would see on like fashion runways, right? So like these really skinny, tall, like unproportionate people, and this is completely fine for people to look like that, and to each their own. Whatever you want to do with your body, it's your body. You can do whatever you want. However, she was doing that for so long that she kind of came to adapt to this style when she had a client that reached out to her on a freelance. I believe the first one was New Yorker magazine, where she first developed the style. It was either New Yorker or LA Times. I don't remember the exact one. And she drew this style of person or a human with these really like socially disproportionate ratios. Like giant hands and small heads, and she had a
Yeah.
lot of the client loved it, and then instantly when it was released, she had so many people that reached out to her and said like, I'm so happy to see drawings of people that don't look like everything that's displayed in media, and it really resonated with me. I was able to connect with the art and connect with the product for what we're doing. So she started to develop this style, and she started to work with many clients in this style. So when we were looking for our artists, actually as a collection, it kind of went backwards a little bit as we created the concept and what the collection would mean and the charity partnership before we found the artist. So then after that, we looked for artists, and I think we went through maybe 10 to 20 different artists that we had samples drawn. So I basically explained what the collection was, what it meant to us when we were trying to portray, and then had the artist take that their own way and what it meant to them, and draw the art. And there was a lot of great submissions we had, but when we saw the one from Bisbee and what she did, excuse me, just coughing, we felt like it was a perfect fit because it was an abstract. There was an abstract connection to what the core of the mission was about body dysmorphia, right? So like having things that were not conceived normal social norms or cultural norms, but what we have created and what the community has felt towards it is that everyone is able to relate for a different reason, right? And for us, it was really important to include lots of different traits and lots of different things. So in the long term, the part of the reveal, like for us, what was important is a lot of collections sell because of like rarity. This is ranked number 1, or this is ranked number 10,000, or somewhere in between. And if people want to buy like that, completely fine. But for us, it was more about hoping that collectors would want to own a piece that meshed with their vision of themselves, whether
Yeah.
that's how they actually looked or whether that's how they felt like that was their spirit animal and they wanted to be this way, but because of society they live a different way, or so it's quite important to us to make traits that people felt like they could connect with, and we wanted to be all inclusive of cultures. We have some cultural items that range from like Native American to different Asian subcultures and different fashion and clothing styles that go from all around the world. And it's quite important to us to try to include as much as we could in the collection. So originally we had like 1,500 traits, which is insane.
Yeah, that's
Yeah. So what we did is we kind of grouped some of them together. So if we look at like one item, like we have this one item in the bottoms category called Wild Pants. And then there's different variations of this. There's some with flames, there's some with the Mount Fuji illustration, some with the more Asian style clouds and whatnot. So it was more to diversify the collection so people could relate to it, and all potential owners could find something that they felt like meshed with their version of themselves or something they wanted to be. And yeah, and celebrate equality in that as well. If you notice something for how we did the traits is that the skin for all of the human skin tones, there's no names for all of them. So whether the skin is quite fair or it's quite dark, all the skin is named Humanian skin, because it doesn't matter what your skin looks like or where you're from. We're all equal, right? So the equality is represented in the traits. It's represented in the art, and that was something that we really wanted to push forward. People not to be able to search for dark skin or light skin in their process of buying, but we're all equal. It doesn't matter. It's just whatever resonates with you. Go for it. Take it. Have it be part of you. Have it be part of the collection and your portfolio and whatever that means to you. So yeah, we love the art also, and the reveal day was really exciting for us. And yeah,
yeah.
I'm excited
So
to push forward with it.
with the art, did you kind of give her like full creativity to do what she wanted to do with it, or did you guide her in a sense for what traits you specifically wanted to be involved in there, and how did that process look?
Yeah, so I mean, the art is all hers. So she'd never done an NFT collection before. So when we first started, I sat for a few days with her and explained like how the generatives will work. So we have to have different layers, and like where the shirt ends need to line up where the hand is in every one because of the way that our software will piece them together in the end. But that being said, like the first few weeks she was drawing, everything was completely her own. But at some point, we're all working as a team. So she worked in the office sometimes, from her house sometimes. Um, there was also conversations about, okay, what other traits do we want to include? What are some other cultures that I'm not thinking of? So these types of things where we never influence the art, but just as a team, we all generate ideas. And I think it's good to brainstorm together and bounce ideas off each other. So this was an important part of the process as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that's really cool. Like I said, the art is really cool. It's so unique, and every one of the Humanians is super unique, and you don't see two that are that really look remotely the same, which is really cool. So I don't know how many traits you guys ended up settling on, but I'm assuming it's quite a bit. Are you guys on rarity tools or anything like that to where people can actually check their rarity?
Yeah, so we have an official partnership with Rarity Sniper, which after our reveal happened, we went through how, because all of these sites, they have like a kind of like a bot that will scrape a new collection when it's revealed, and the metadata, and it will decide the rarity. So with our official partner, we got to work with them on how the rarity system worked before they published it after our reveal happened. So our official partner is Rarity Sniper. Yeah, so if that is part of your buying process and you'd like to look for that reason, Rarity Sniper is the way to go.
Yeah, for me, I'm definitely one of those buyers of NFTs that finds one that resonates with me. I know I do look at the floor because I'm cheap, and I do look at the floor, but it has to be somewhere around the floor. And then I try to find one that I like around the floor that kind of resonates with me. That's typically how I buy on OpenSea, unless I see one that I really really like, then I'll stretch it a little. But for me,
Yeah,
definitely.
I find the one that I want to be like. I'm looking at right now. I think it's a fox jacket and a cowboy hat with some
Ah,
flip
it's the
flops.
red panda jacket.
Yeah, yeah. There you go.
I'm
That
looking at
Okay.
furry
I
store.
I looked at this at first, and I researched the artist a little bit after, but I was like that. It looks like fashion drawings to me, and
Yeah.
it's super super fucking cool. Like I love it. I picked one up today too, by the way, and I think I'll probably get another one.
Thank you so
I love the art.
I
Yeah,
want
thank you so much for supporting. I appreciate it.
Yeah, the art is really cool. It's just super unique. Um, which is definitely something that I look for, and especially in the space. I think people, are really concerned about utility and stuff like that nowadays, but I do think the art is still the number one thing that people look at first when they look at a collection, and they say, "Hey, do we like the art?" Because it's hard to buy something if you don't like the art, right? Even if it does have some pretty cool utility, it's still kind of hard to buy it if you don't like the art.
Yeah, I mean, we're in the NFT world. It's connected through digital, right? So you're on your phone, you're browsing. Same like with social media, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, whatever it be. You scroll, you scroll, you scroll, you scroll. Something catches your attention, and it doesn't mean that. I mean, if somebody heard about on a Twitter space or something that was based on audio and not something visual, it's okay to go look at it. But usually, what catches your attention first is something that catches your eye and stimulates your brain, and then you can make a decision from there on whether you like the project or not. But yeah, art is a big important factor in a lot of projects as well.
Right. Do you have any one of ones in the collection?
We have 100.
100 one of ones. Nice.
Well, they're not necessarily. Well, we have 100 legendaries, and some of them have like multiple color ranges. So you will see like some of the dinosaurs that come in a few variations, and some different characters that are in a few different variations. But there is 100 that are unique to the rest of the generative collection.
That's really cool. We have quite a few one of ones too. We actually have some guest artists in our collection who did some for us, which we're really excited. Um,
Ah, super cool.
Yeah, so we wanted to do something, so our utility is super cool and super unique, but it's just like I said. I think people still look at the art as the first thing they look at, and so we wanted to make sure we had cool art and some stuff that surprised people during the mint and during the reveal. So we made sure to add some one of ones in there. I think, how many do we have, Lucy?
I think we have about 80 now.
Wow, that's
Yeah,
crazy. That's a lot.
Yeah, yeah.
Cool.
We've
It's really cool. I
and
love
a
I
yeah,
love the art
few
and
are
what you guys are
from
doing, and it's good to keep those surprises long term.
right.
yeah, a few are from community members now,
Yeah,
um,
Oh, cool.
which is cool. I mean, we have a fan art channel in the Discord, and there's two people in there that consistently are just making janitors, and so I felt like we should probably include them because they came up with some really cool ideas. And anyone that makes us laugh is kind of considered for that. But we just added three from the community, so I'm pretty pumped about that.
yeah, they're funny too. They're really cool.
Yeah,
Re-
yeah,
Not
they're
Wow,
amazing.
really
that's awesome.
good, like
Really cool
legitimate
idea.
artists.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, we had so much cool fan art in our Discord leading up to our mint too, and still some afterwards as well. It's amazing how many talented people are. But I always want to, like inspire and motivate people that art is subjective, like everything else, right? So it's good for you to, if you like to draw or you like to make something digitally or whatever it is, just do it, because the good or bad is in your head, and everybody has different tastes and everybody is subjective. So if it's something you like to do, don't let other people's perception and opinion stop you from doing something you love. So whatever that
Yeah.
might be. Even if you draw really, really good stick figures, I mean, my drawing capability, I don't think to myself is very good, but I still like to do it. And I have like a doodle, like a little doodle journal, and I draw some like kind of like old school flash tattoo kind of stick figure stuff, and I really enjoy it. And I bet you if most people looked at it, they would be like, okay, this is weird, but I like it, so I keep
Yeah, and
doing it.
it's kind of
It's
like
fun.
a mental break or a stress relief too. You know what I mean? So doing
Absolutely.
writing for me is like that as well. You know, just writing anything, whatever it is. You know, just getting in, just having a little time and just writing some stuff. And I think it is important for people to do that kind of stuff, regardless of if you think you're good or not.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I think any kind of creative outlet to get outside of the real world and outside of your head is always beneficial. You know, whether that be meditation or spending time with your family or making music or drawing art, whatever it is. These are things that our soul needs in order to sustain and to thrive long term. So taking that time for yourself is really important.
Yeah. So I'm going to open it up here and see if anybody has some questions because I could ask you questions all day, and it's awesome. But I'd love to see if anyone else in the space has any questions for you guys and see, what kind of stuff they can come up with and uh, and ask. So I'll open it up here. Anybody who has any questions for the Humanians, uh, raise your hand or request to speak, and I'll let you ask some stuff. Or Flosi, if you have any, because I know you typically have a question or two, and usually I take all the time and all the questions, and you're just sitting there, maybe asleep.
Yeah, yeah, you were back to back on this one, which was pretty unbelievable.
Yeah,
But no, I'll let some other people come up. I think you asked a lot of the stuff that I was wondering, and it was, I mean, you have a lot of cool stuff going on. The art's great. Usually gets me looking at a project, but it's definitely like the founder for sure, and what you have planned. So I'm pretty excited for you guys.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that.
yeah. And so if nobody else has anything, we've talked for about an hour now. Typically, we have two or three projects on, and everyone gets about 20 minutes. So I'd say we hit a lot of stuff, and we really appreciate having you on.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. Really nice to meet you in person, not just over Discord messages. But as you guys get to the point where you're getting into your mint, please let us know. We'd love to give some whitelist spots away to our community and get some of our community involved in your project as you've done the same to ours. And I always think it's important to pay it back and pay it forward as well. So
Yeah.
excited to work with you as a project in the future and see what we can do together.
Yeah, one last question I did have for you. So, and this one is kind of just for me as a founder and as someone who's really focused on collaborations and marketing and developing our brand. You guys did a really good job of getting your brand out there and growing your Twitter and growing your Discord. Is there anything specific that you found that really worked really well for you to get your brand name out there and to grow your brand and, uh, and because you guys did do so well with that, and you just so happened to end up minting at a tough time, but you did so well getting your brand name out there and growing your Twitter and your Discord. So any suggestions or tips you can give on that would be greatly appreciated.
Sure. I think for us the biggest thing has always been authenticity. So as we started to develop our project and what it meant, what it stand for, we just kind of had like this strategy structure and how we were going to release things, the voice and the tone of the brand. So it was important for us as, the voice and the tone of how the brand, it developed as like a mixture of the personalities between the artist and myself and the other founders and the voice of the community together. So I think a big part is having a voice and having a tone that's like how the brand is and how it's perceived, and it should be important that that is authentic, because in this day and age with the saturated market, if you're not authentic, people can see through it, and authenticity is really important to us. I will say that numbers wise, if we're looking at numbers for like social media and things like this, we did a lot of collaborations with projects. I'm friends with the founders of a few projects, like we did with Karafuru Crypto Mories, and we're doing another giveaway with Crypto Mories today, collaboration with them today.
Yeah.
I see somebody in the group with the crypto in the Twitter Spaces with the Crypto Mories.
Yeah, I love.
Avatar.
We had them on actually, and I know them fairly well as well. I know Sad, I know J Flex, I know those guys pretty
Oh,
well.
cool. Yeah, nice.
So I do know them pretty well. I'm actually a Mori holder myself as well, so
Oh,
I
cool.
love the crypto part. And that's funny. I was going to suggest you guys collab with them because you're doing kind of a similar thing where they're really focused
With
on
the
the.
mental health space. Yeah, for sure. And we worked with them in the very beginning of our project, maybe a month and a half, 2 months before it minted. But we're working with them again too. But I think those partnerships between projects are quite important. And I found as we developed like our social and our numbers that we did a lot of giveaways. And for example, like I think 2 days before our mint, we're friends with the guys from Karafuru, and I text one of their founders. I text him like every day because I'm always curious about what they're doing and their experience, because I think ego is important, not to have an ego in this industry, and to take advice from people who have already done it and learn from their mistakes and their experiences and their accomplishments. So we did, like I think 2 days before our mint, we did a giveaway. They gave us a whitelist spot to their upcoming 3D project that launched yesterday.
Yeah.
And that, just doing that one giveaway, we had like 40,000 new followers in like 24 hours, because the the giveaway was like to retweet and tag and like, and just from that like 40,000 people came. Now there's a difference in when we look at like followers and just perceived value based on, okay, how many Twitter followers, how many people are engaged, is that when you do a lot of giveaways, you tend to accumulate followers that care about only giveaways, right? So maybe those 40,000 people, only 10 or 20 or 100 of them actually know about our project or care about it or care anything that we post, right? So, yeah, I mean, there's different ways, but I think the biggest thing for us has always been authenticity and getting collaborations and partnerships involved with other projects in the Web3 space, whether that is alpha groups or NFT projects or anything in between. So
Absolutely.
Open the doors, become friendly, throw your ego in the garbage because it doesn't matter here, and push forward with what you want to do, being authentic. That would be my advice.
Absolutely, and that's hosting these spaces has helped us a lot with that as well, because we bring on so many founders and we've met so many cool people in the space just from hosting these spaces and having people on. And it's cool too, because sometimes we bring on 2 or 3 different communities and the founders don't know each other, but they hop on and they find that they have a lot of stuff in common, and then next thing you know, we see them working together, which is really cool that we can get projects together to do that kind of stuff as well.
Sorry, I pressed the mute button. I was still talking. Yeah, absolutely. I agree. I agree with you, and I think we've met quite a few people through Twitter Spaces and things we've done. In the early phases, I didn't have as much time to do it, and I still don't have that much time to do it. But I'm making time for myself to make sure that we can give space for these and to meet new projects, because I think it's quite important in how we move forward. And we get to meet awesome people like you with cool new project ideas. And not only do I find it that we can make new friends and make new partnerships, but also find inspiration and motivation in our own project from seeing what other people do. So,
Yeah.
I will just say thank you so much for having us on. I know we're hitting that hour mark now, but I really appreciate it and looking forward to what we can do in the future. And just want to give a big thank you.
Yeah, and again, we really appreciate what you guys are doing for the space, and appreciate you coming on to our space tonight, and look forward to seeing what you guys continue to do in this space, and look forward to seeing what Odd One Out continues to do. And yeah, man, we really appreciate you, and definitely stay in touch.